I'm John DiArmo with the Coquille Sword Group, and today we're discussing Article 36. This is the last of the articles in the body of the Heiho Sanchibo Kajo. We'll be doing one more video talking about the epilogue, but for now, let's focus on this. So, let's begin. Article 36, the attainable void, which can be reached by realization of the entire truth. Bit of a mouthful. The attainable void, which can be reached by the realization of the entire truth, is a very difficult idea to convey in writing. It is the ultimate condition after which you should strive tirelessly through everyday training. Right? Doesn't really give us a lot to go on, right? It's short and seemingly obfuscated, but let's dive into it a little bit. The easiest way to start this is to talk about what the void is, what Mu is, and what it is that Musashi is talking about here. In the West, we tend to have this idea of the void as a state of negative, as in nothing in it. Emptiness, but emptiness without force of action. For Musashi, this is not what, and for the Japanese people in general, this is not what the Mu, what we translate as void, is. We can think of it more as a state of active emptiness that's also not active, right? It's difficult to speak about. We can think of it like a barrel of water, right? The water inside the barrel of water may be still as glass. It is Mu, right? But that water is active and inactive at the same time. It still exists within this sort of flow of the Tao, of yin and yang and yin yang, right? And the moment we poke a hole in that barrel, what happens? Water shoots out without effort. No, it doesn't try to do anything, but it's also not trying to do nothing either, right? By its nature, it's still until it needs to be not, right? I don't know how clear that's going to be. If you want to get a better understanding of how Musashi and sort of the Japanese and sort of Buddhist and people who follow Buddhist philosophy view the void, then you're really going to have to dive into Buddhism, right? I'm not suggesting that you give up your religion and convert or adopt a religion if you have none, but to study it in order to understand this seemingly abstract thought is really kind of the first step in being able to experience it intentionally, right? Because we experience Mu all the time. We just don't generally recognize it as such. So, what does this have to do with sword work and Musashi strategy? It's quite simple, right? Musashi is fundamentally a man who wants to exist in harmony with being a man, with nature, with the world that he's in, with the person that he is. And this really informs all of his choices, right? How it sets up the perspective by which he looks at the world and the problems in it that he can resolve in himself. So, from Musashi's point of view, yeah, you can be one of these guys who's like, oh, I want to be the greatest fighter in the world. That means I'm going to be like a roid head, right? And that's fine, but it's coarse, and there's a limit to it. And the more you push to that kind of extreme nature, and it is a push, it's an effort, right? An exertion. Eventually, you're going to run out, right? You're going to run out of gas, or you're going to tip yourself, poof, right? Because you've gone too far. And Musashi views that as weak, or at least we can extrapolate that he viewed that as weak and coarse. Instead, he suggests, hey, if you really want to get this thing, you want to get this strategy that I'm trying to teach you, you want to understand how it was that I was able to beat those guys, right? You want to understand what it is that I've come to understand in all of my years of training. You have to just let it go, right? You gotta take all that noise and just let it go, right? This doesn't mean you become like this moss-covered stone Buddha, right? That just sits there and I've let all my worldly desires go and I do nothing, right? That's not what it is at all, right? And even within Buddhism, that's not what you're after, right? This is when you're hungry, you eat. When you're tired, you sleep, right? It is just being in rhythm, being in timing, the same exact way. They want to cut at you, and you just boom, do that first parry, awesome, and take it, right? If you're not in rhythm, you die, right? Or you don't succeed in your resolution of them, right? But if you're in rhythm, then it's as though they can do nothing, right? Because you have this miraculous power, right? that repels the rain and wind. So, in the Gorin no Sho, Book of the Void, he expounds on this just a little bit more. So if you think reading more words on this is going to help, then that's definitely a place to go. But really, you got to explore Buddhist philosophy in order to kind of get this idea. And of course, as always, if you want to understand this work, you have to pick up a sword and go train.